we're so comfortable with dealing our traumas. Our traumas are easier to deal with. It's the joy that we have the hard time to deal with. And these medicines really, you know, my first breakthrough came with you back in 2021 in January. And I don't forget these times, and very similar to you, I just saw something about these medicines. I saw people changing their lives, and really, like, I've never seen this before, never seen people like change their lives like this. And it was just so amazing. Just like you, every weekend I dove in. And I think we were fortunate because during COVID, we were very fortunate because things shut down, but Florida stayed open. And a lot of people went and come and drank ayahuasca. The medicine was great, but it was that every weekend, seeing people and changing and seeing these. But the worst part about that is all these people were leaving and they're being fed to the wolves. And this is where the integration came, and, the hard work. And, the medicine is such a small portion of this work. It's everything that we do after. When we first dove into this path, like you say, we don't know. I think I was at the end of my rope too. And once we see that, like, I left the first that week too. I left. I said, I'm fucking out of here. But 3 weeks later, I was back in that same church, and I was found something that nothing worked before, and this is working. And that community and those people, and just
it's the community.
It was love.
The community. Mm-hmm. SoulQuest provided something that I have even yet to see, and we've got a large community, but SoulQuest provided this supportive community that was so beautiful and so, boy, you could just fit right in there. And it didn't matter where you were in the world, you could still come there and be a part of it, and be a part of the Sundays. And, Dr. Scott, like you, he said some very profound things. And I remember him saying, because everybody comes to SoulQuest, and then everybody wants to serve medicine, and everybody wants to become an integration coach, right? Everybody wants to move to Florida. Everybody wants to quit their job, divorce their husband, move to Florida. Like, everybody has the same idea. And I remember Dr. Scott standing up and saying during his integration call, what's true today is going to be true in 6 months. And if it's true in 6 months, it's going to be true in a year, right? So if you're feeling these things and you sit in them and you wait and stuff, that's how you become the integration coach. That's how you get yourself to Florida. That's what I did. That's what Mark did, right? We sat in it. So the integration coach part of it, this is obviously your calling in life. I've been going to your integration call for almost 5 years now. What, because back then, even though it was only 4 or 5 years ago, it was still new, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it wasn't even as talked about it as now. How did you find getting certified? Where did you do that? And how did that come about?
Great question.
That is a great question. I love it. Thank you so much for allowing me to answer. I started, so I was going back volunteering, cleaning buckets, doing everything I could do just to be in some way of use of service for SoulQuest. And I went to Dr. Scott in probably early 2019, and I said, hey man, what really fuels me and what really fills me is talking with the guest. I love that. I used to go on his integration calls, and I would just sit like a fly on the wall. Just loved listening to people talking about their experiences and him showing them a different angle, or just try to kind of make them look at something that they didn't want to look at, or something like that, but also love and support and encouragement. And so I loved talking to guests, and I loved experience or talk and kind of allowing them for me to be a part of their experience and sharing and being vulnerable with me. And I was like, how can I do that? What do I need to do that? And he said, try this being true to you integration thing. Give that a try and see if it's something that calls you. And I did. So I did the being true to you integration coaching thing, and it just really fit. It was something I really, really enjoyed. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot about myself in the school of becoming an integration coach. But it's funny, I have a background of I read every Carl Jung when I was going through my depression. I read everything on Carl Jung. I read everything about Buddhism, and I learned yoga, and I became a yoga instructor. I mean, I got all of these modalities in my depression, and I just didn't feel it. It was ayahuasca that allowed me to take that conceptual ideas, all those ideas I had, and to bring it into my heart and feel it, like all came together perfectly in perfect synergy. And then so Dr. Scott, after I completed the course, said, "Hey, I do Wednesday afternoon. How about I give you Wednesday night? And you can do your integration call on Wednesday night." And we started that Wednesday after hours integration call in November of 2019. And I think I've missed seven total. I mean, we've been on every day, every week. And I love it. I love the call so much. It's so powerful. Every week there's a new theme. It's not like we control the theme. It's not like today we're going to talk about your relationship with mom or anything like that. It's just the call starts off. The first person usually kind of goes into this thing, and then it just snowballs into this. You can see the theme building. It's quite remarkable.